Hey friends, I am back in the Philippines. I am staying here in Makati. Been here for a while, seeing friends again. If you're new to the channel, my name's Oliver. I am a digital nomad. I am traveling the world and trading, mostly trade options. And most of my videos are on the topic of trading. So if you're interested in that and you want to see how things go for me or want to hear what I have to say about options trading, especially, go ahead and subscribe. But today I thought I would do something more on the digital nomad side of things and just do a tour of the building I'm staying in, which is the Gramercy. It's not this unit, but it's the Gramercy. I love this building. It's got a second floor connection over to the adjacent mall, which has things like a pretty upscale grocery store, a bunch of coffee shops. There's like an Apple store there. So pretty nice, pretty convenient. And that's where I like to stay if I'm staying in Airbnb. But I'll also share why I'm not really using Airbnbs as my first choice anymore, and how hotels can compare and be kind of a compelling option these days, even as a slow traveler. So, anyway, with that aside, let's do the tour.
Okay, just in case people were curious, this is the Airbnb I grabbed for Manila. It's in the Gramercy. I really love the Gramercy building. Great location, great building, swimming pool and a gym. But two burner induction cooktop, nice little kitchen setup here, full size fridge. And then on this side, nice bathroom, walk in shower. A little workspace, bed, studio setup, little balcony, not much of a view, but it's a great location. It also has a walkover in-building connection to the mall next door. So you can walk over to the mall, do your grocery shopping, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've stayed in this unit before, really love it. The owner is great, has a little projector so you can do projection movies at night. So yeah, so I'll be here for a couple of weeks and catching up with my Manila friends and getting some work done.
Okay, so let's talk about things I don't like about Airbnbs. I do like this unit, and I've stayed with this host a couple of times now. So when I know what I'm getting ahead of time, it can be a great option, but otherwise I do prefer hotels. So when Airbnb started, I feel like they really did offer a cheaper, better alternative to hotels for long stay travelers. The main points Airbnb had over hotels at the time was not just cheaper, dedicated workspace with good internet, and a kitchen. At least those are the things most of us still look for when we're booking. Lately, with the growth of the hotel search aggregation sites like Booking.com, Hotels.com, etc., I feel like you can get some pretty competitive deals there too. So the price advantage really isn't as great. The Airbnb units can be a little bit larger, which can be nice, but the price isn't that much of a differentiator. And when you do find really cheap Airbnbs, they often look pretty sketchy. I think that sketchiness is the result of a kind of an Airbnb hosting gold rush that's happened over the past few years. You had a lot of people trying to cash in on Airbnb, and I really think the quality has suffered. And unfortunately, it's not always in a way that's visible in the listing. So, for example, I had one place where the power would cut out for hours a day, pretty much every day. And in the listing, it had said that they had a backup generator. But when I was there, for the entire month that I was there, the generator was out of order. And I would say this experience is typical. Wi-Fi has also been very hit or miss for me at Airbnbs. Sometimes it's too slow for anything but email. Other times it cuts out multiple times a day. So I often have to work out of cafes or co-working spaces. And at that point, the internet and the working space in the Airbnbs aren't so compelling. And the main thing left to prefer an Airbnb over a hotel really is the kitchen. And I feel like kitchen should really be in quotes for most of these places because it's often little more than a couple of burners and a saucepan. There's rarely anything like a coffee maker or a blender. I've often had to go out on my first day in an Airbnb and buy a bunch of kitchen equipment. And I'm not talking esoteric stuff. I'm talking about things like spatulas or a can opener. I even once had a very premium priced Airbnb unit where the stove was an induction stove, but all of the pots and pans they bought were not induction compatible. So while a kitchen would be nice to have, the reality has been a pretty mediocre experience. Now, on the hotel side, I feel like things have actually really improved over the years. So I often find hotel deals that are really competitive with Airbnbs at the price point, at the quality level that I'm looking at. Wi-Fi is fast and reliable, and these days you can connect all of your devices. It's almost always fast enough for Netflix, for example. And there's other conveniences just inherent to the hotels. So, for example, if you want to extend your stay, Hotels have dozens of units, if not more, and they can almost always extend. Whereas if you're staying in a single Airbnb unit and they have a booking following yours, there's no option. Also, there's a front desk that's open 24 hours. If you fly into a country, like if your flight's delayed 5 hours and you're landing with an Airbnb, you're like texting the host if you can even get cell service. It's very stressful. But with a hotel, it's no problem, right? Which really then leaves the kitchen. And with a hotel, you often will have a coffee maker and a fridge. And you can actually do a lot with that. So you can boil water, you can keep perishables. So you can make like instant noodles, you can have sandwiches, you can have salads, you can make overnight oats, you can have fruit, hummus and veggies, cheese and crackers. A lot of these hotels come with some sort of a breakfast option that can be very cheap. And if you're just having 2 meals a day, like that just leaves dinner, which I often go out for anyway. So with that, let's just look at a couple of places. So I'm going to look for a 1 month booking, and that really gives Airbnb its best showing because they'll have a 1 month discounted rate for things, and see what options are available in this neighborhood. So this is the area that the Gramercy is in. I kind of like this is Poblacion. I like this area. The other two areas I like are if you can spend a bit more, maybe like 1,200 over here in BGC area, although it can be kind of hard to find stuff. And then if you want to save a little bit, I would look over here in Legazpi Village. I haven't stayed here. There's a building called the Beacon that looks really nice. But there's this mall, Greenbelt and Glorietta. It's a huge shopping district. So that can be pretty nice as well. But for me, I kind of prefer it over here. So this is a different building. This is called Knightsbridge. And this is interesting because you get the price way down to 540. And that's going to be better than what you're going to get in a hotel for sure. Um, but if you look at, there's one review, and the place might need a little bit of improvement. Kitchen utensils need upgrading. Lots of the walls and floorings are falling apart. To me, that's a bit of a red flag. If you're willing to take a risk, this is what I meant by, maybe sketchier places. If you're willing to take the risk, certainly you would save money, but not for me. But bumping it up to 882, we've got this place. It's in the Gramercy. I'm quite familiar with this building. Unit looks pretty nice. But when I was going through the reviews, I found this last review here that was really concerning. This guy stayed here twice. He was happy the first time, but for the second time he tried to stay, the unit wasn't ready for an extra 4 hours. You show up, right? You can't check in for an extra 4 hours. He had to wait an extra 30 minutes because his bags were put in a different unit he had no access to. He was late for his appointments. The manager got into a fight with a building resident after he put his bags in the second unit. Threats, insults, made up accusations. This feels like an absolute nightmare, right? So yeah, his emails were quite scary. So yeah, I would not stay in this unit. So this one's getting a little bit better, but 4.2, I get kind of nervous anything below 4.5. Electrician wanted to cut power because the electricity I assume, wasn't paid. We're up 1,000, but still, there's like red flags, right? This one's only got a 3.5. Those joked they'd replace the TV with a new one, but it was actually an old black and white TV that flickered and had a tiny screen. AC needs replacing. Ended up sick for 3 days. Bathroom shower held up by strings. Room had a moldy smell. 1121. Unit looks nice. Looking through the reviews, this one seems kind of fine. So we're really looking at just shy of $40 a night to get to a unit where I don't see any red flags. And that's kind of what I end up doing. I have to go through and I'm reading all the reviews. I want somewhere a bunch of people have stayed, and eventually I get to a deal like this, which this would be fine. Agoda is the site that I recommend as the best hotel listing site for Asia. They have a lot of hotels that the other ones might not pick up, but certainly you may as well look at all of them and see what kind of deals you can find. But here I just did a search on Agoda. I'm going to take the budget per night and crank it down. I'm going to use 50, so that's 1,500. Obviously there was some, Airbnb, it was more like 1,200-ish, right? But yeah, we can see. So now Red Planet, I know this one. It's kind of a budget hotel, so it's fine as a place to sleep. And it's got this funky, like a fold-down desk thing that you sit on the bed and you can use. That's fine for like a quick check on your email and stuff. But you really just want to sleep in the room, wake up, shower, get out. It's going to be cheap. You're looking at like 700, but in the main lobby, there is this kind of a desk setup, and there's power outlets here, and you still have great Wi-Fi. But I don't think it's really competing with an apartment. You'll also see people will list, like Gramercy, unit. So this is somebody listing an Airbnb style unit. Obviously, very good price, but I would have the same concerns that I have about Airbnbs in general. Now, this iHotel, this is located near BGC. It's a bit of a walk into the center of BGC. I've looked at this before. It looks super tempting, I have to admit, but there is an actual desk in the room that you could sit at and do simple stuff. There's your hot water pot, there's your fridge. So that's actually kind of tempting.
So this is going to be my home for about the next week, which is also nice. I didn't have to book out a month to get that particular rate, and I can be a lot more flexible with what I'm doing. So, which right now that's actually kind of perfect. So, all right. Anyway, catch you guys in the next one.